So, welcome to our new YouTube channel. I decided to make a YouTube vlog because there are going to be a lot of changes in our home, and I wanted to have a place to talk about it. There's going to be a lot that comes with it. There's going to be a lot of unknowns. There's going to be a lot of ups and downs, and I wanted to be able to document it. I thought about just journaling it, but when it came down to it, I really wanted a place to record my family's life, and I wanted to be genuine, and I want to be able to share all the emotions that come with it, and I just felt like this was the right thing for us to do. So I'm going to rewind a little bit. If you don't know us, I'm Chelsea, my husband is Steve, and we have 4 little boys. Traxton is 10, Asen is almost 8, Zeke is 6, and our Brink is 2. He's our baby. And all of this kind of started back when we got pregnant with Brink. I had thought, baby 4 is going to be it. Baby 4 is going to be a girl. I love my boys. I love them. But I was really, really hoping that baby number 4 would have been a girl. And I just knew in my heart and my soul that he was a girl. I just knew it. And the day we found out he was a boy, it was so hard. Now, I know there are so many out there that struggle with infertility, that struggle with miscarriages and loss, and I want to be very sensitive on this subject because it is very hard for a lot of people, and I truly sympathize with them. I have a lot of friends who struggle with infertility, who haven't been able to have kids of their own, and my heart and soul goes out to them. But with that being said, I feel like everyone's story is their own, and everyone has the right to feel the way that they feel without feeling bad about how they feel. So I want to address a few issues here. Gender disappointment is a real thing, and I struggled with it. I really, really did. I was so thankful that Brink came into our family. I was so thankful that I was pregnant with a healthy baby boy, that I've had healthy pregnancies, I've had healthy babies. But I really, really struggled. Now, before we got pregnant with Brink, we had decided that baby number 4 was going to be our very last, no matter if it was a boy or a girl. And at the time, I thought, it doesn't matter if it's a boy, it's a girl, like, we're going to be done. So I had even told my doctor, like, no matter what, we're going to tie my tubes. I have to have C-sections with all of my kids. And so baby number 4, like, I'm going to be on the table. We're just going to tie my tubes and be done. So she was like, okay, great. Then when we found out he was a boy, I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried and I cried. And I cried for days, to be honest with you. And I was actually very angry with Heavenly Father. I felt like I deserved a girl. Like, I've, been righteous. I've been a good person. I've, felt like I've done everything that I'm supposed to do my whole life. So I felt like I deserved this, which, looking back, that's a very, very poor attitude and a very poor way to look at things. However, at the time, that's how I felt. And so I was very angry, and I had a lot of friends who reached out and were so nice and so sweet. And I remember a day that I was cleaning one of my kids' rooms, and I was just crying, and I was praying to Heavenly Father, like, why? Like, this is my last kid. Steve and I had decided that this was our very last child, and I've wanted a girl my whole life. I am so girly. And I just felt like this child journey was over. And with it being baby number 4, I was like, we're done. Like, I'm done. And I love my boys. I'm going to say that over and over and over. I love my boys, but I really wanted a girl. And so when I felt like this was over, I was just crying and crying in my room, and I had this thought come into my head of like, who said you had to be done? And at that moment, I was like, you know what? Like, I don't have to be done. Like, yeah, we agreed that 4 kids was it, but I can change my mind. We can have more. So at that moment, I was like, okay, I'm still mad, but I'm going to accept this process and I'm going to go through this process. So, anyway, fast forward, I had told my doctor that I didn't want to tie my tubes. And she said, okay, I understand that and I respect that. However, with C-sections, we have to see the shape of your uterus after you deliver this baby. Now, with my baby number 4, I remember very specific times where I was in so much pain, and I remember very specific moments when I was doing things that I felt my uterus tear. And when you go to the doctor, you know, they hear so many stories and they just say, you know what, it's normal. It's normal pregnancy pains. But at that time when I felt extreme pain, I was like, this is not normal. This is not what it's supposed to feel like. But I didn't ever call my doctor because I was like, well, what are they going to do? I remember one specific time I was lifting something I shouldn't, and I felt a tear, and I was outside, and I walked inside, and I laid on my couch, and I could not even breathe. I was in so much pain, and I was crying. I was in so much pain. And I just knew at that moment that I had done something. Didn't know what. I had an ultrasound the next week, and I had told her about this pain and what I had felt, and she looked and she couldn't really see anything. So again, she was like, you're fine, there's nothing wrong. So I just went about and I made it through. And there was another specific time that we were walking around the block. It was Halloween. So Brink was born middle of November, and I remember on Halloween we were walking around the block, and I didn't even make it halfway around the block, and I could not breathe again. So those very 2 specific moments came back to me when my doctor said, we will have to look at your uterus at that time and determine if you're able to have more kids. So, but in my head, I thought, no, like, I just have this feeling like I'll be able to have one more, and then I'll finally get my girl. And it didn't happen that way. So I went in to deliver Brink, and he came out perfectly healthy. He was wonderful. He was so sweet, so cute, and love immediately filled my heart. I didn't care he was a boy at that time. I was so happy to have him and that he was healthy. And then she leaned over to me and said, Chelsea, you're not going to be able to have more kids. We have to tie your tubes. Your uterus is not healthy enough to carry any more children. So when you carry babies and you deliver normally, like a normal delivery, you have what's called a window in your uterus, and it's supposed to be like this big. And when I went to deliver, my window was like this big. And so they could see him like floating around in there, and without even cutting me open, they could see through my uterus. It was so thin and so weak that she said, I am so surprised that your uterus didn't rupture. And if that happens, so she said, if we need to tie your tubes, because if that happens, you could die and your baby could die. So it's very serious. And so at the time, I was just devastated. But I knew that had to happen because I didn't want to die. And my life is, worth something. And I need to be here for my other children. And so, again, I was so happy that he was here and healthy. But I had this whole nother set of rush of emotions in the hospital because I wasn't going to be able to have any more kids. So it took me back, 5 months earlier when I had this devastating feeling about not being able to have a girl, and then it kind of turned around and changed that I was going to have more kids and that I could have another opportunity. So that feeling hit me again. And I was just kind of like, I'm just so devastated. And then, obviously there's nothing I could do. This was how it was supposed to be. And so I came to terms with that and I accepted that. But both my husband and I both have felt like we were not done having kids. And my husband would just say like, Chelsea, there's more. And I'm like, how, like, I can't have any more kids. So my husband was really always open to adoption and fostering. um, I wasn't against it. I never was against it, but there was a selfish part of me that said, no, I want a girl that is you and me, because all of our kids are you and me, and I want to see what our little girl would be. So for a very long time, I had my mind set on surrogacy. And I had looked into surrogacy. I have talked to surrogates. I have talked to people who have used surrogates. And my mind and my heart were always battling each other. They were always going back and forth. My mind and my stubbornness was like, yep, this is what we're going to do. This is our journey. This is like, I'm going to have a baby via surrogacy no matter how much it costs. But my heart and how I felt was, it's not right. It's not for you. So I battled with this for a very long time. I was very stubborn. I am very stubborn. My husband will be the first to tell you that. And when I finally decided and opened up my mind to fostering, this happened in a couple of different ways. At the time, I was working at a place that my boss, she was a foster mom to two very special kids. And the love that she had for them was unconditional. And she was a very good example to me. Another example is one of my good friends. She is currently a foster mom. I'm not going to tell too much of her story, but they are foster mom to and foster parents to 5 kids right now. They were never able to have kids of their own, and she has always been like such a strong influence in my life. She is very strong in her relationship with Heavenly Father and of what path He wants her and her husband to be on. And so they had decided to foster because they weren't able to have kids of their own. And her journey has been so fun, and it's been so fun to listen to her and listen to her stories and the experiences that she's going through. And she is an awesome and incredible person. And once I opened up my mind to fostering, I felt this like immediately calm and peace come over me, that this is what we were supposed to do. So I talked to my husband about fostering, and he was like, I've been telling you we should do this all along. Like, I'm all for it. So let's do it. So I think the reason why I really wanted to start this channel is because we're not licensed yet, but we have been through this process. We're almost done. And when I posted something on social media about our lives changing, and I've talked to people in person, a lot of people are like, you should share this journey. You should share what it takes. You should share your experiences and how hard or how easy it is with this journey, because there's a lot of people that are also interested in it. And it is scary. It's a huge step. And so they said, we want to hear this journey. We want to hear what you're going through. And so I decided to start this channel mostly for myself and for my family, to document our journey and our process, because our family is going to be ever changing and ever growing. I'm not naive enough to think that this isn't going to come without trials. I know for sure it's going to come with trials. It's going to come with a lot of hard experiences. We're going to be growing as a family. Our kids are going to have to adjust. We're going to have to adjust. There's going to be a lot that comes with it. But I feel like that's also part of our journey that I feel like we should be able to share. So with that being said, I am starting this now to continue to share the process, even though we're not completely done. I want to share what we've done up until this point and share how hard it's been or how easy it's been. So if you or someone that you know wants to foster, they can be inspired, or they can decide it's not for them. We do live in the state of Utah, and so wherever you live, the rules and regulations may vary slightly. So I suggest you deciding what is regulatory for your state, and then go from there. So anyway, we're just going to share what's going on in our lives. Maybe kind of boring. It's very chaotic. Like I said, with a family of 4 boys, we are crazy and we are always busy. And it is a lot when we tell people we're going to be a foster family. People are like, well, you already have 4 kids, and we are aware of that. Yes, our intent is to adopt, but the number one goal in foster care is reunification with their birth parents. So in a lot of cases, that is the case, that you will take in these children to foster and just help take care of them while their parents are trying to get better. And reunification is always a number one goal, especially here in Utah. They always want families to be back together. So we will take in children, and most of the time they will probably go back to their biological parents. But we hope that as we go about this journey, that whatever child is supposed to come into our home, we can be that safe place for them, and we can be a place of constant and love, and showing them that there are safe places to be, and that whatever child is supposed to be into our home, that they will be guided to us, whether they're already here or may come in the future. We just hope that whatever's supposed to be, and whatever kids are supposed to be a part of our family forever, will be guided to us, and we're just going to trust in the process and trust in Heavenly Father and the plan that's supposed to be. There will be a lot of heartbreak. We're prepared for that. But we also hope that during that heartbreak, we can be a place where these kids can feel safe and loved while they're here, and that we can learn something from every child that comes into this home. So I'm going to kind of keep this shorter, but this is why I wanted to start this channel, is more for myself to document this process, because kids are going to come and go out of our homes, and I want to remember them forever. We cannot share their names, any of their personal information. We can't even show their faces, but we can share a lot about our process. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for watching, and I hope you follow us along this journey. It's going to be fun. It's going to be crazy, and we hope you enjoy it along with us. See ya.